Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad we've gotten together to talk about being a woman in engineering in the National Armaments Director Group. This is part of the reason we're doing this podcast is for International Women in Engineering Day. This year's theme is engineering intelligence, and I'm hoping we're going to have an intelligent conversation about our engineering experiences so far. What made you choose engineering? Was it a natural transition into this perfect, I'm going to be an engineer, or was it something you fell into a little bit more?
No, I have to admit, it wasn't. So when I left school, I never had a sort of inspiration to do anything. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't sort of wake up one day and go, I want to be an engineer. It was kind of, I joined defence probably just over 20 years ago. And I joined as what was an E1, so an admin support role. And it was in a quality assurance team, so a discipline of engineering. And I guess that was my first exposure to engineering. And I got more of a feel for it, and I was understanding about the different aspects of engineering. And as a result of being in that team, I moved into safety. And for me, that's kind of where it really felt more like something I was more passionate about, understanding the impact of, the work that I potentially could do and the value it could add to those who actually use the equipment, just making sure it's as safe as we can make it. And yeah, to be honest, I've kind of stayed within engineering as a result of that. And yeah, that I kind of transitioned from safety then into my current role, which is certifying land systems, but still with that, within that engineering sort of function. Like I said, that's kind of me.
How about you, Harriet? Do you identify as an engineer, more importantly?
Yeah, I'm Harriet and I'm not an engineer. That's not true. So I'm actually a marine biologist by trade. So it was sort of the sciences that drew me into something that I was passionate about. And marine biology wasn't really something that anyone spoke about before going, at college. You do geography, you do biology, chemistry, physics, all that. But marine biology was never something that was sort of out there as a career choice. And there was one university sort of nearish home that did it, and I've never looked back. But then in my current role, there is a lot of engineering that you have to think about, which is where I'm almost having to learn on the job now, where, if ships sank, it's how they sank is really important, and understanding how they were built and what they were built to withstand is engineering through and through. So now the risk that's posed by different shipwrecks on the seabed, if you don't understand how they were built, what they were built to withstand, how they sank, was it a torpedo, a mine, an aerial bomb that made them sink, you can't understand the risk that they pose on the seabed now. So that's my engineering sort of tag. And I would say that, yeah, it's fascinating, and you have all these different bits of things that you have to think about. You almost have to be a detective to work out what these look like now and the state that they're in on the seabed. So my way in was via marine biology, and now I would class myself as an engineer, but feel a little bit like imposter syndrome.
It goes to show how many different types of engineering there is across DNS, though. You don't have to have graduated as an engineer from a university to be, I'm an engineer. There's so many different ways you can get into engineering.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you guys pretty much got thrown into it, but I know it was really early that you had to pick careers almost. What kind of attracted you towards engineering?
Yeah, I think for myself, to be honest, I wasn't really too interested in engineering at the start, not because of what it was, just because I didn't really know much about it. I think in GCSEs I wanted to go into Spanish and geography, so not anything to do with STEM almost. But then found out about Welbeck College, which myself and Sadie both attended. And yeah, it just going there and then doing engineering at Newcastle University just really got to me. I really enjoyed it, especially the maritime side, which obviously I'm currently in. Both my parents have done a lot on boats, boat building, ferries and stuff like that. So I think it may be destiny, but yeah, no, it's good.
Family legacy, I love it. But are there any times where you kind of almost really doubted that whether you belong in engineering or not?
I still feel like that. Yeah, I think there's so many different aspects to it, isn't there? But almost like you said, Sadie, there's what is engineering?
Yeah.
You can work your way in different ways. And I think what's really important is if you do something that you love, it'll get you to somewhere that you enjoy, even if it does start with spreadsheets.
For me, earlier in my career, I was like, I don't feel like an engineer. I was asking loads of questions, and I felt like I was almost a burden to others because I was constantly asking questions. To me, it felt like really daft questions, but they're not. It's how it helps you, strengthen your knowledge, how you develop. And then I think it got to the point where, a point in my career where people were actually coming to me and asking me questions, asking my advice and guidance. I thought, okay, now I feel like an engineer. Now I feel like I've got the credibility and the competence to be able to help and share my knowledge with others. And I think that's when I realised, yeah, I am an engineer and I'm adding value to what I do.
Such an interesting point about feeling bad about asking questions, because that's exactly how I used to feel. It's like, God, I have to ask so many questions to understand this topic. Surely I should know this because I've got a degree in engineering. Surely I should already understand how to apply my knowledge to this. And now later on, as you get other people coming to ask you questions, is like, but actually, this is super useful. I'm validating my own understanding as well when I'm trying to explain a concept to somebody else. But then that's something I've always said to any graduates and apprentices I've had, that if you have any question, please just ask. Don't think they're steering over the fact that you think it's a stupid question, because it's probably not. Yeah. Like, the answer might not be that obvious. So just ask the question, because that kind of drives so many different conversations. And people think so differently that you're like, oh, I actually don't know the answer to that question because I've never thought about it that way. And I feel like that's the beauty of engineering. Like, you need lots of different people thinking in different ways to solve complex problems. Absolutely. Which is, most of our work. Would anyone like to talk about any key achievements they've had? Is there something that you've done that you're particularly proud of in your career so far?
I think for me, it's having ownership of things. The sort of light bulb moment for me was a few jobs ago where I worked in a team like advising the Navy on their operations within and around marine protected areas. So trying to ensure that they didn't go against the requirements of the marine protected areas. For example, don't anchor on a reef. I had ownership of, I took ownership of the project within the submarine area, and it was on me. Most of it was me that was managing it, that was organising it, that was doing the surveys, etc. And I was on site and alongside this submarine, and I was like, wow, this is my work that's got this done. And that for me was, I think it's having I'm going to say it again, but the ownership of it being your own thing. And almost, you can have those spreadsheets in front of you, but until it comes to life and you're like, wow, this is mine and I've made this happen. That for me was my light bulb moment. Yeah. And it almost makes you a bit more assertive, I think, especially as a woman in a man's world. There was all these guys on site and little old me and my kit that was way too big for me. I looked like a little gnome in sort of a normal person's kit. But yeah, it was, it was me that was doing it. And that was, I think, for me, it's the ownership of things that really makes me think, yeah, this is nice for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, for our placements, we have a mid-placement review and an end-of-placement review as well. And to sit down after the 6 months and see everything that I've completed and achieved listed out in front of me, and really thinking back to those first few tasks where I didn't know what was going on, to suddenly I'd been seeking out my own work and just doing tasks that I knew needed to be done and I knew I could do without having to question everything. It was quite validating that, no, I am making progress and I'm understanding this. Yeah.
Yeah. I love this. It's like seeing people become engineers in real time. I love it.
It's really good actually, because my kids are at the age now where what the youngest is going through GCSEs, the eldest is going through A levels. And I completed a safety engineering master's degree a couple of years ago, which for me academically is absolutely massive. I never thought I would ever go to university, let alone achieve a qualification of that level. So for me personally, it was a huge achievement, but it was really, really valuable for me as well. And something that I really sort of really enjoyed to see is the sort of effect it had on my children. For them to realise that even though I'm sort of mid-career, I would say, and at my age, that learning doesn't stop, and you don't have to say, just because I finished my GCSEs, my A-levels, that's it. If you want to continue to learn and develop and become an expert in your field, there's opportunities out there. And yeah, I think that was really sort of took it home for me.
While we're on the subject, have you ever had to push back against stereotypes of being a woman? Like, I know Harriet mentioned being the only woman, but were you ever treated differently because you're a woman, or have you been fortunate enough that that's not been your experience?
I don't know, because I'm a woman. I've never been. I don't know what it's like to be treated like a man, or maybe I do, and just no one treats me any differently. I think I've been very lucky in my career. I mean, you girls are still really early in your careers, aren't you? But you can experience sexism, misogyny, whatever throughout, can't you? But yeah, I've been very lucky. Like most of my line managers' bosses have been male, and they've been super supportive and let me run with who I want to be, what I want to do. I don't know, maybe even sometimes it can help to be a woman, because you can be perceived as a bit softer and maybe less aggressive, and in some ways that can really help. Not that I want to stereotype, but men and women are different. And I think, I just think I've been really lucky in my career. I've never felt like I haven't had opportunities open to me because I'm a woman.
It's just something you just get so used to. Like, I can't imagine being in a team. It sounds awful. I can't imagine being in a team with like all women or like 90% women. That's just something that I'd be shocked if I walked into a team and was like, oh, wow, like, it's just us.
You know what? That is my favourite bit of my current team. Like, at a point, my entire line management chain and the person I managed were all women.
That's great.
You suddenly sat in the room and went, oh, this is different. I've never had this before. And like, I think we even joked about what the lone man on our team is like, oh, is this weird for you? It's like, yeah, a little bit actually. Like, it's like, yeah, this is what it's like for us all the time.
Every day, yeah.
So it's really, it's weird. Yeah, you do have to be more aware of it, because every time I meet someone new outside of work, in like a social setting, and I go, oh, I'm an aerospace engineer, and they kind of go, oh, okay. And it always seems to surprise people, and I don't know why. It's like, is it so strange you've never met a female engineer? I don't understand why it's still not, oh, cool. So what, like, I one day I wish the reaction will be, oh, that's really cool. So what do you do? Rather than, oh, kind of that taken aback stance of, oh, I don't know what to say to you now. You're like a different person than I thought you were. What do you hope engineering looks like in about 10 to 20 years? I'm happy if you want to kind of look at it from a perspective of what it looks like for women, or just what engineering looks like in general to you.
I think it should look, I think equality is really difficult to define, because for me, like, to treat everyone equally, like at school, is the basis of it all. Expose women and men to exactly, or boys and girls to the same stuff, and then let them choose. And if it means that in the future there's still 10% of the engineering population is women, then for me that's appropriate, because people are choosing the paths based on the same experience, based on the same exposure. If it looks like it's 50, 60, 70% women, because those women have wanted to choose those roles, then that's great.
It's like
but
medicine,
how do you assess that? I'm not sure. But yeah, for me, it's.
I think you can, but that's a really good start, right? Like, at least try and expose them to the same stimuli or the same opportunities. What about you? How do you hope engineering changes?
Well, I guess just sort of tapping on more of what Harriet said, that to have engineering as a function that's more diverse, it's more balanced, you've got these different perspectives, would be fantastic. Whether we'll actually get there, I don't know. But just really utilising advancements in technology and different approaches, seeing how other nations do engineering and learning from best practices, drawing that in, but making sure that actually we don't lose sight of the human touch, that level of interaction. You still need that engineering judgment, that creativity to come up with your solutions. So even though technology is fantastic, it's a great way to advance the way we do things, we still need that engineering sort of judgment and professionalism to come up with an answer to something.
You are the cutting edge of innovation in national armaments. What do you guys think?
I think certainly in 10 to 20 years, a big thing is like the speed of development. Like, will our procurement processes and how many years it takes to like get some new kit, will that keep up with technology that could have developed beyond what that kit is capable of by the time it's ready to be in service? So the speed of advancements is definitely going to be an interesting one to kind of witness, and already is like occurring now, but certainly a couple of decades time, that'll be a big one, I think.
Yeah, 100% agree. No notes.
Yeah, that's very fair. And finally, what advice would you give to future engineers or anyone thinking about either changing their career to be in engineering or picking engineering at university, college, graduate schemes, at any point in their lives, I guess?
Like, not knowing something is okay.
Yeah.
And you can work with that, and you don't have to be an expert on something within your first few months of the job. Like, we've got years of learning ahead of us, but it's quite inspiring to see like women that are so passionate about what they're doing now and leading projects and stuff. So yeah, it's like just taking things as they come.
I think if there's any like intimidation, say from pushback, and like use that as motivation, like don't let it hold you back. Like kind of go out of your way to like be the person who is there, rather than the people who are like, as we discussed earlier, like, oh, like you want to be the engineer, be it. Like don't let anyone hold you back from doing that.
I'm a big fan of if you can see it, you can be it, and that's kind of, and so thank you very much for volunteering to do this. Hopefully we have provided some lovely people to look up to say, oh, actually I want to be a marine biologist. Okay,
I love your be curious.
Be curious.
Mantra. Yeah. It's so all encompassing for just the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one final thing as well is like connecting with people as well, like connecting with other women, and just being able to kind of speak what you're thinking and like listen to other people's experiences as well.